Right, we're going to start with page 1 of our album, and this is the one where you've got the top pocket to add pieces of memorabilia, extra photographs, and you can make photo mats out of your pages for these as well. So lots of space for things like that in there. So that's going to go in there. So we're going to start with page 1. So the first thing I want you to do, just pop that up there to one side. First thing I want you to do is to open your album, and you're going to tear out one of your pages, because I found it easier to actually work on the page and then stick it down. It just gives a bit more stability. But if you fancy having a go at this but don't want to put your pages into a spine album, that's no problem at all. You can recreate these and then you could stick them into your scrapbook album. So I've torn a page out, and the first thing I'm going to do is to trim it down to 11 inches across and 11¼ inches down. So I'm going to pop that in my trimmer. Got a nice new blade in here. So I'm going to take that to 11 inches. And then we're going to do a quarter turn and make that 11¼ Then that means that's going to fit nicely on my page. Okay, so it's got a nice little board around it to stick onto my page. Alright, so I think I'm going to go straight in and get that stuck down. Let's get some, I'm just going to use the all-purpose glue here, which is going everywhere already because I've had it laid on its side. So I'm just going to go around the edge. Now, many of you that follow me know that I do majority of my videos, well, I can safely say a lot of my videos are all done step by step. My online tutorials come with a PDF, and if I do a freebie video, I tend to offer with some of my newer projects a PDF if you go over to my website and leave your details. It's all done for security reasons these days. So that's nicely stuck down onto my page. So for this page I'm going to be using the pattern paper that I've got here. So I've got 2 sheets, but I'm only going to be using half of that. I'm actually going to be using that side and that side. And I've got a couple of cutter parts. And I also need to make another photo mat, so that's not a problem. So I'm going to pop the cutter parts there to one side, and I'm going to start off with this piece here. So let me just move the album to one side a moment as well. Bring in my paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut this at 6 inches across. So in the paper trimmer, I'm going to go 6 inches, keep that back for another page, and then I'm going to trim that down to 10 inches. So in my paper trimmer, and bring that down to 10 inches. And I'm keeping all these little pieces, okay, I'm not throwing anything away. Then with my corner rounder, going to just round to those corners, and that's the first bit ready. And then with this piece I'm going to cut again, but this one has got birds on it, so I want this to be my pocket. So be aware that if you have something like the birds are flying one way, you don't want to have them flying upside down. So with this I'm going to trim this to 6 inches across, but I've got the birds going this way, so okay, that can go to one side for another page. And then all my birds are this way for my pocket, and then this is going to be 10½ inches. Okay, just pop the trimmer to one side a moment. And again, I'm going to corner round to these. one of the corner rounders is one of the first things I ever bought. This is one of the first craft items I bought about 15-16 years ago now. And it's been an old faithful. I've used it all the time. And then I'm going to bring in my Peacock Feathers ink, and I'm just going to ink around the edges of those. This is personal preference, you don't need to, but I'm just going round the edge to take that just cut look off there. The nice thing with these albums is, as I said, I've got lots of pictures before I started scrapbooking just stuck in albums like that, and I know I need to get them out, and this is why I came up with this idea of a way that I can get lots of photographs in not as many albums for a start, but to get them out of you know, with the glue stuck down, because they're not digital, so I can't reproduce them. The negatives are tucked away somewhere, but you know what it's like, they're in a box somewhere. And then I'm going to just corner round these again. These are rounded, but I'm going to just corner round them again so they match up with the shapes that I've got on my page. This one is a cut apart, and I'm actually going to use this as a photo mat. So again, inking those edges just so everything ties in. If you don't want to ink the edges, you don't have to at all. It's just personal preference entirely. Okay. And then the last thing I need to do is with some matching cardstock, and I've got for this project I've got turquoise, baby blue, a baby pink and some white, and of course we've got plenty of black in the album, so I didn't have to worry about any black at all. So let me get a piece of turquoise. So this is the turquoise. As you can see, it matches perfectly, and this is just from the paper mill. So that's here in the UK, but I'm sure there's stores like that wherever you are. And all I'm doing is I'm going to cut a 6x4 photo mat. So that's 4 inches by 6 inches. Again, pop this aside to be reused again. Corner round of those edges so everything ties in. Okay, and then we can start assembling our page. Let's bring our page in here. So I'm going to have my roses going that way first. So I'm just going to glue those directly down onto the page. So that's going directly down onto that page. Now this is then going to be my photo mat. So for the photo mat, obviously you only need to glue 3 sides. So I'm going to go in with tacky glue for this, and I'm only going to put as thin a bead as I can, making sure my birds are the right way. You can use double-sided tape for this if you wish. Choice is yours. But I'm going straight in with the tacky. So I've just put a bead of glue, you see, just round the 3 sides, and then position that where you want that on your page. But you can see straight away how quickly this is going to come together. I'm going to lay one of these down here just so it's slightly down. So again, that's going to be stuck directly down. So I'm just having that layering effect coming in there. and then my cutter part is going to come in here as well. I'm going to stick that directly down because I've got the pocket that I can put journaling, memorabilia, that type of thing in. So I'm going to add that about there, so we've got nice layers going on. And then I've got a horizontal one here, so when I stick this down I'm going to have it slightly over the top pocket, so we've got again all that interest going on. So I've got to be aware of not sticking that top bit, and also I've got to put the photographs here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do 3 sides to start with. So that's going to go there, and I'm going to go up here a little bit. Okay, so I'm not putting too much glue on. And then I'm going to bring that up to about there. Okay, and then if I bring in my finished one to show you, all I've done is I've added my title. I've used some sticky letters and I've inked them in the same peacock feathers, so everything matches, but you could quite easily die cut a title, that's fine. And then I've just added some little gems to finish that off. And then obviously Photomats, just take some extra pages out your book, cut them down to size, and you've got extra Photomats. So really that is page 1 complete. So I hope you enjoyed it. That's a really quick one. Page 2 is going to be this interactive one here with the big booklet in. So I shall see you in the next video for page 2.